What's up, guys? Chad here with the Reptile Rangers. Now, we're at the Kernersville Reptile Zoo and Medical Center today, and we are going to talk about sexing baby boas made easy. There's a super easy way to do this. Now, every way of sexing can be a little bit risky, okay? And I'll talk just a little bit about some of the different ways of being able to do sexing and why each one is a little bit dangerous. But the fastest, easiest way when it comes to sexing baby boas and several other species of constrictor, large constrictor, is by this method. Now, just before we get into that, right there in that bottom corner, right over there, is our subscriber button. Make sure you hit that, and we appreciate you following along week after week after week. Now, let's get right into this. Okay, so we have baby boas, ones that we produced this past year, hypos, super hypos, het albinos, lots of cool little babies. You can see one right there. Beautiful little babies. Now, there are so many different ways in which to sex snakes or determine the gender, male or female, of your snake. But there's one that just once you have it down, it's super easy, it's super fast, takes less than 5 seconds to do it once you have it down. It's called popping. The popping method, now I said before, popping can be dangerous if not done correctly. I'll explain why inside of the video, but there's other methods such as candling. It's not quite as accurate, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. You can palpate the outside, basically feeling for the presence of hemipenes or a hemipenal pop, just running your finger down the outside of the subcaudal scales, which the subcaudal scales are from the cloaca opening to the tip of the tail. The ventral scales are from the cloaca opening up to the neck, or the neck to the cloaca opening. Okay. Now, when we start talking about the palpating to see if you can feel just a pop or a drop from hemipenal presence, that can give a false presence as well. The other method is, of course, probing, the most accurate method, and probing can be equally dangerous because for a female snake, which does not have an interior to the tail, because she doesn't have hemipenes, so she doesn't need to store anything in the tip of the tail, it can be a false positive because the smaller the snake, the smaller the probe. If it's small enough, you can actually bust through the wall inside the tail, and that, for obvious reasons, is dangerous because then, one, you can pop through the wall, you can create an infection, a wound inside of the tail, which can create the infection, which can build up bacteria and cause problems for your snake. Number two, it can give you a false positive that you have a male because it went in deep. All right, so what's the easiest, absolute, simplest method of being able to sex? Things like boas, baby berms, reticks, ball pythons, carpet pythons, and the list goes on for a lot of different species like this one. It is the popping method. All right, now I'm going to show you on a couple of these baby boas. I'm going to show you male, show you female. I'm even going to pull out a couple of ball pythons and show the males on them as well. Same exact method and how we do it. And hopefully this will give you a little bit more of a helping hand because unfortunately a lot of times you go to the expos, they tell you one thing and it turns out to be something different. You go to a pet store, they don't have a clue in a lot of cases, or if they've at least tried, they don't. I've even had vets that missexed them, and that's pretty bad. Lots of vets have missexed snakes. So this right here will at least give you kind of that heads up if you're breeding or starting to breed and you want to be able to accurately sex your babies. If you're wanting to confirm that what somebody sold you or you're fixing to buy is a male or a female, then this will give you the most simplest and accurate method because you can physically see exactly what's going on. Here we go. Check this out. Okay, guys. So let's take this pretty little hypo. This is one of our babies. And this one's a boy. But what we're going to show here is, of course, first you got to get them to quit wiggling or get them comfortable enough in your hand. I take with my right hand, take my thumb, press just above the cloaca, kind of creating a wall. That way when we're pushing this way, we're not pushing the hemipenes back up in the body, we're actually pushing them out, okay? Start way down the tail. Push, 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 push. There we go. See, that's just how easy it is, okay? That is super easy, all right? Just like that. Now, we put those back in. Now, you don't want to start way up the tail because if you do have a male and you press here or you press and start pushing here, you may actually damage the hemipenes. But that's why we go way down the tail. So you can see I'm kind of keeping pressure. I'm depressing right here. I'm kind of pressing together, creating that wall. Start way down. Bend the tail backwards just a little bit. And there they come. Just that easy. Now let's see a female. Now, this gorgeous girl right here, even prettier. But, so we're going to get her right here. We're going to take and create a wall. Start down low. Push, push, push. And all we push is basically crap. You're going to see two little white nodules, and that's it. So it will not be any long hemipenes. You can see a little white nodule right there in front of my finger. My finger's touching it. Let's see. Let's do something here. I used a paper towel and wipe that tail real quick. See if we can do this again without the nasty effect. No, move your body sweep. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can see the two little white nodules. That's all you're going to get for a female. All right. Just for the sake of, I'm going to take this banana hinchy right here, which is also a male, and show you pretty much the exact same concept. Okay. Press, bend, push. Okay. Same concept applies. So we press, creating a wall. We bend back a little bit, and we push. Even take this bigger, young breeding size soul sucker, male ball python. Still the same thing. It's actually easier. The bigger they are, the easier it is, because the hemipenes are, of course, bigger. You cannot do this as easily with colubrids. Colubrid scales are actually harder, and so they're not as easy to do this with. Unfortunately, with colubrids, you have to candle them or probe them. Sometimes you can get them to pop, but it's very, very rare because they're much smaller and the hemipenes aren't as big, and the scaling underneath the ventral and subcaudal scales are actually a little bit tougher. All right, now hopefully that's been helpful, and that gives you at least an insight. Yes, it takes time. I have several of my own staff members that we've been working with and doing that, and sometimes even they'll say, I get it sometimes, and sometimes it still is a little bit tough. So it can take a little time to kind of get used to the whole pressing, bending, pushing, and not going too high on it, going way down low and pushing those hemipenes out. But again, once you have it, you've seen how quick it is that I do that within just a couple of seconds. Once you have the snake still, it's super easy. It's the absolute easiest method with the least amount of risk from popping and probing. There's a lot less risk of injury to the snake by popping the snake, as long as you don't press down on the hemipenes. You go far enough down the tail and you push the hemipenes out. Okay. Now, again, this is Chad. We are here at the Kernersville Reptile Zoo and Medical Center and Store. As you see, storefront, what little you can see. We are the Reptile Rangers. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell for notification. Also, feel free and write us in. Let us know of other things you want us to film about. Our information will be in the description below for people needing to get in touch with us. We do have, as I mentioned, the storefront. So if you're looking for anything, we carry all pets, all supplies, food, things like that. If you're local to us, feel free to come on by and see us. We're happy to help you out however we can. Don't forget about the TikTok channel entitled Reptile Rangers, also the Instagram page, Kernersville Reptile Zoo. And as we continue going along here, make sure to continue following along week after week after week, and we appreciate you doing so. Now, we'll either see you here at the zoo, or we'll see you on the next episode. Later.